Hi everyone, welcome to the fifth episode of Green Worms Insider series, and today we have a special guest, my colleague Meera Panikar, and she is our researcher, especially working in the space of policy and impact assessment. So let's talk to Meera. Hi Meera, how are you?
Hi Akshay, how are you? I'm good.
All well, it's been wonderful hosting amazing people like you. So just tell us about little yourself, where you came from and the interesting work you do.
Okay, so I am actually from a small town in Kerala called Kottayam. It's in central Kerala, and I studied in IIT Madras for my MA in Development Studies. So last year I was working with an activist called Aruna Roy in Rajasthan, where I was addressing issues of inequality and how civil society can address poverty and environmental issues, etc. So I had learned enough from there, and it's post that job that I got introduced to greenworms through job.
Right, and amazing. And why did you choose a organization like Green Worms, again working in the grassroots, again in this waste management sector considered as a dirty job? Why? What made you to join Green Worms?
So there are two things that I'm very passionate about. One is poverty alleviation, and the second is environmental sustainability and protection. So this was a perfect marriage of both of these. Poverty and pollution. That's what our tagline is, right? So this is both being addressed by this by greenworms, and also I felt very inspired by the young workforce and the leadership of greenworms, which were very committed about the welfare of the people who work on the ground. So that's why I found greenworms a very attractive space to join.
Yes, and glad we were able to get those benefits of onboarding you. So again, not exaggerating, but again, I think the way that Meera has been able to demonstrate it as a marriage is a very ideal way of telling that the impact at a high level. So Meera, in terms of what were your role and what are the few things that you are able to deliver during your stint here?
So it's a long time, right? 12 months. But yeah, the initial 6 months I was working as a policy researcher. That was my job description, and I was trying to figure out how greenworms can make an impact in the policies landscape in Kerala and India and the world. So I was studying policies, and I was understanding how we can create a research space within greenworms and make our presence known in the larger public. So I was able to actually write a paper with the help of others in greenworms, and actually now the paper is going to be published in a Scopus Index journal. It was also awarded best paper in IIT Guwahati conference on recycling and waste management. Other such there were other plastic brand audit reports, etc., that I was able to work on. There were even a case study that I worked on Kasargod, got published in the Swachh Bharat Mission website. So these things had happened during the stint I was a policy researcher, but then I had to shift my role to the GIZ Circular Economy Solutions project.
Meera, the work you are able to do along with our colleagues is amazing, and that's where we realize the true potential of the role of the waste management companies getting into the policy, because you have so much data on the ground which was not able to access by the policy makers, at the same time intermediary consulting or stakeholders, right? So the way you are able to put in, right? So we also got some advantages in terms of your work, in terms of we were able to get access to the stakeholders, policymakers, to showcase our work, where they also understand our pain points. So that was really interesting, and I think most of waste management companies don't have such division. Yeah. And we tried it once, and we were able to see immediate results in 6 months. That was interesting, and also the way we use that to showcase to the larger audience through impact assessment was really wonderful, and the awards were amazing. Like we never realized that we will get some sort of uh, recognition from IIT, which itself, again, we are from a down so small state, small area that we operate. So amazing. And so secondly is what was also some of the area of projects that you've been able to work during your stint here?
I was creating content and editing, and I was also helping with analyzing data for brand audits, for surveys, for welfare surveys in the organization. Other things I did was one thing that I'm very proud of that I did was we conducted a menstrual hygiene workshop in the MRF for the MRF workers. This was a very commendable effort by the organization as well as from our part, I think, and I'm very proud of it. Yeah, and the welfare surveys and the work for the welfare fund, all of that was very enjoyable for me and felt like aligned with my passion for my work with the world.
When we are talking about this project, especially on the impact assessment, how do you see this small pilot projects done? Would how essential in long run it would have? Would that evolve as a policy because there are more national level governments involved, and you being making the whole reports and assessments, how do you see that would evolve into?
So the GIZ project is a collaboration of the government of India and the government of Germany. So this project, I think, it's a pilot project, right? So we are trying out things, and the important part of the project is if something is working, that is a recommendation, and if something is not working, that is also a recommendation. So we are learning every moment in that project on the ground, and this will directly influence policy making to the minutiae, to the lowest level. So in that level, it is a very impactful project, and I am very proud that I have been working with them. The part where it is most important is that we are taking every ground level input and trying to include it into the reports and show how it can be implemented in larger scale policy development. So these kind of projects, I think organizations like Greenworms has a lot of work happening on the field, on the ground, and if that data can be translated into language accessible to policymakers, then it will surely bring change on the ground and actually bring systemic change to the world. Yeah.
Right. Meera, you were talking about systemic change, which is also one of the fundamental of Greenworms, putting a workforce at the forefront, letting them work throughout the year without any disruptions, right? And do you think this will evolve as a larger systemic change of what Greenworms were doing will become some sort of mandate for the whole industry to follow, saying that these are the non-negotiables, saying this is how things work, but again everyone has a piece of cake in it?
Because business will grow only when all the people are taken care of. Only when workers are taken care of will the workforce be satisfied with the work and they will be motivated to do further, and that is the only way business will grow, right? That's what we learn these days in MBA classes and all that. So I think it's very important that we follow this and we set this model, as well as work on ways to publicize and lobby for the same at higher levels. Yeah.
Meera, we often see this is a dirtiest job, right? And we have to admit, again, it's an evolving sector. And how about the role of women? It's most welcoming in the Greenworms or even in this industry.
Yeah, so this is an interesting question actually. If you look at our workforce in the MRF, all the workforce except for the loading and bailing workers are women. So 90% is about of the workforce.
Yes.
But none of the managing workforce are women. In the MRF, even if you take the administrative staff, less than 20% of the group is comprised of women. So that's one thing. So and if you look at the top leadership, how many women are there?
Right.
You cannot even count them in one hand. That's too few. So what I think personally is that, and I think this is aligning with Jaber's and Adit's and the organizational leadership's view from my conversations with the team is that there should be more women in the leadership positions, at least 1:1 ratio of men and women, as well as other gender and sexual minorities. So we are only thinking of women and only thinking of men, but we should be thinking of in a larger framework, because when we are looking at international level standards of the working, people talk about inclusivity and diversity. So these are very important. And another thing about women being in the forefront and being in the leadership is that there is a gender cost to not accounting for not having women.
Right.
There is a cost that happens when you have fewer women in leadership roles. The space will be more antagonistic to women. Women will find it less comfortable to work in, and a lot of concerns that women might have will go unaddressed. So leadership positions should have at least 1:1 ratio of women and men, and these women should have say, and there should be a space within the company of care and empathy, where everybody's issues, both men and women, issues are heard. But these are feminist values: care, empathy, compassion. So these values should be inculcated into the organization, so that the cost of in ignoring gender can be substituted.
Yeah, well said, Meera. I completely vouch what you have told. Again, as we organization, we evolved over years. Where, if you look back few years ago, the women were feeling very uncomfortable to work. But I think now we have a ground workforce which was very predominantly the women. So in the top level, how we can able to bring in. So there are two scenarios. Either we are bringing someone external to lead the change, or evolving our team to elevate them into leadership roles and nurturing them. I think that's the way forward. Meera, I mean, it was amazing workspace. We both enjoyed our all, being working at Green Worms and again in the waste management sector. Just tell us your experience as a team and larger as industry.
As a team, I enjoyed it a lot, because this is a group of passionate young people, and they are ready to work against all odds, and they are very sure about what they want. So it was nice working with everyone as a team. I liked that the leadership had a vision, and that that vision included the people on the forefront being the workforce. And about the development of the other people as well who are part of the team. So that was there. As part of the industry, I believe, I think for me personally, I think yes, private players should come into into the fore. But also, to be honest, I think it's time that we concentrated more on the design aspect of plastic waste management than the management aspect of plastic waste management. That's all.
Right, and I think this episode has given us some details on what a policy or the larger social impact communication can do, and Meera is just a single person team. Of course, she has worked with multiple departments pulling the strings. And also Meera has been a great colleague, and personally it was we had a strong belief on certain aspects, and we also got this belief that if we can able to make policy changes through our work with showcasing evidence, data and all that, it really make a difference. And I think we did a very lot of good work and also shown some immediate benefits also, but ultimately things should move on, and Meera is also moving out, and she is also pursuing her new research. Again, she wants to do a PhD also. So I wish her good luck, and we all miss you being here. Thank you, Meera, and also last words if you want to tell.
Just let's unwaste